The Irrational Confidence Podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Irrational Confidence Podcast. We're talking college football, and we are recapping an exciting week number one. As you can see, I am on my normal Labor Day out of the office, out of this normal studio. I'm poolside right now. We're recording this right after the week one games. We're recording this Sunday morning. So granted, yes, FSU, BC has not played and USC, LSU has not played. But we need to talk about all the action that happened on Saturday. I'm joined by my co-host, Fresh. Fresh, how you doing, buddy?
It was an amazing Saturday, start to finish, starting with game day at 9 a.m. Eastern, going all the way through late. We even had an old school Pac-12 kind of after dark with Arizona playing way into the
Ooh.
hours of the morning. Um, Fantastic day, exciting, upsets, points, everything you kind of want on a full day loaded of college football.
Yeah, it was a fun one yesterday. Start to finish, from the noon games all the way to, well, Pac-12, rest in peace, Pac-12 After Dark, but we can still call it that, I guess. All right, Fresh, players of the week. We started off talking about this. You know, we got to give an honorable, like, this guy is going to be the player of the week regardless, and then kind of pick up some other ones. We got to say Ashton Jeanty for Boise State.
Whew, what he
Woo.
did down there by Eagle River in Statesboro, Georgia, that actually is probably replicative of what Adrian Peterson looked like when he was playing for Georgia Southern. Not AP in Oklahoma, the other AP. But he's just running people over, scoring touchdowns. He got 6 touchdowns, and he says school record for yards. Whew,
Yeah.
absolutely just manhandled the Georgia Southern defense.
Yeah, so he's going to be like a consensus player of the week, but we both look at some other guys. I think our defensive guy is player of the week because that has to be consensus as well. I don't know if I've ever seen a stat line like his. You want to take that
Whew.
one, or you?
Yeah, I mean, folks, if you were up late
Right,
last night here in the East Coast, and you were watching that Arizona New Mexico game, which scored 100 total points, so there was no lack of offense.
right,
But one player decided to play defense, and that's safety Christian Ellis for New Mexico. I had to read the stat line, and you can go on anywhere to
right.
see it. I had to read the stat line multiple times. The dude had 8 sacks and an interception. He was probably the only person on the defense trying to stop Fafita and McMillan and that Wildcat offense. But 8 sacks, one's interception. Heck of an effort for the Lobos. And the kid also, as you probably know by now, we're based out of Jacksonville, Florida. The kid's
Yep,
from Jacksonville, Florida. So even big time rep for Duval right there.
right.
Keep repping, kid, and go get it.
Yeah, Genty and Ellis, both from Northeast Florida. Amazing opportunity for them. Fresh, you got another player that was a stud of the week, player of the week.
Another stud offensive player. Actually, we're going to go the same game. On the other side of
Yep,
the ball for the Lobos at quarterback, Devin Dampier. They're going to have to put some points up, obviously, but this kid, 24 for 42, 260 yards passing, touchdown passes, and then 15 carries, 130 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. The quarterback tried to, keep the Lobos in the ballgame, but, obviously the Wildcats are a little too much for them. But you gotta give the props when the kid come out there and put up the effort and tries to compete at a high level like that.
yeah. My guy of the week is, we're staying in that same game because he was impressive. He's got to be one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in college football right now, and that is Tetris McMillan. I'm calling him Tetris because he's stacking catches, he's stacking touchdowns, and he's stacking yards. Man, kid had 10 catches, 304 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns. Unbelievable game by him. Unbelievable game. So if you were addicted to college football like all of us and stayed up that late to watch the game, you were in for a great one late at night.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing. When college football, most likely you're going to take the over, and that game made sure the over hit. Um, just points, craziness. We also around, college football 2025 came back, and we're all playing the video game like that would never happen in real life. That would never happen. Like that stat line's unbelievable. And then real games start happening, and we're like, well, you know what? That's
That's pretty
actually
accurate.
believable. It can happen.
Yeah. All right, Fresh. You got a dud team of the week. Who disappointed you?
Whew.
There's a couple
There
to
were a
choose
bunch.
from.
There were a bunch. I'm torn, obviously, between West Virginia and Virginia Tech. I'm going to say West Virginia because
Right.
the effort they put on that field offensively and defensively wasn't, I'm going to say embarrassing. We expected an entire offseason. You had the home crowd. You got Pat McAfee there on Friday. Everybody's hyping it up. and you no-showed. Offensively, you no-showed. Defensively, you no-showed. You let Drew Lohr and that Penn State offense throw the ball on you and look halfway decent, halfway respectable in a passing game. You got
Right.
blown out of the building, even with the weather delay where you could have reset everything and got back in the ball game. It got worse after you returned to the field. It's a very deflating effort for the Mountaineers all across the board.
Right. Fresh, I'm torn between a couple of teams. I'm not going to disparage one too much, but I had to go basically Texas A&M and the Texas A&M offense for a very similar reason. Again, Connor Wegman, highly recruited, highly touted quarterback coming in there. You're at home. The eyes of the nation are upon you. You're playing Notre Dame. Everyone is going to either love or hate watch Notre Dame. You had a chance to show out, and you go 12 for 30 for 100 yards and 2 picks, and Texas A&M's offense looked unexistent. They looked extinct. They looked like the way of the dinosaur. They looked like an embarrassment to Kyle Field, which apparently is the number one place to play, hardest place to play in all of college football. Yeah, A&M was good, we thought. Mike Elko's got his hands full over there. That was a very disappointing thing, but great job out of the Irish. I was really impressed with that pass defense as well.
Yeah, Notre Dame's defense showed up. Marcus Freeman obviously got those boys ready to go, and they got Florida State, they got Louisville, and USC down the stretch. Really, I mean, that schedule lines up really well for the Irish. So they can just maintain their own business and just keep focused one game at a time. A&M defensively, all those players, Nick Scorton, the whole defensive line, the secondary, they played great. They did what they had to do. Offensively, You're right. You're spot on. That was just abysmal. No answer at all for that Notre Dame defense.
Right. What's your top game this weekend?
Poof. You know what? We don't talk about it much. We got to give love to Vanderbilt, the Commodores.
Right.
That was just, they showed up, they jumped out, they got after the Hokies. Were the Hokies out on Broadway the night before, just partying up, hitting, learn how to line dance? But the way the Commodores came out, stood on business. Clark Lee, great job. Major reps to you. We're going to say right now, on paper, the worst team in the SEC beat a ACC contender. That should scream volumes about what we've seen right so far at the ACC. That actually is probably the biggest dud of all. But Vanderbilt, Congratulations. Diego, you come over, you had a great year last year with New Mexico State. You beat Auburn last year. You had a great year. You come into Vanderbilt and you give them a spark offensively. It's one game. We can all love it. We can live on it. But big props to the Commodores and Vatek. Y'all got to reset. ACC play is still to come, but that was not a great way to start your season.
Yeah. Fresh, I'm going to actually go to the Miami versus Florida game. It was a blowout of a game, but I'm also going to say that this was the best game for the weekend because of it allowed us to see what exactly Miami is. And the fact that you went into a place like the Swamp, you were in a hostile environment, you were able to completely dominate the Florida Gators, and Cam Ward really announced himself. But then on top of that, to see the Miami Hurricane defense really showed out because outside of that one run of 71 yards there, they held the Florida rushing attack, which we thought was going to be, Graham Mertz is the quarterback. We think like the passing attack will be tough, but the running game may be there. They held them to 2.5 yards a carry outside of that one long run.
Yeah, that one run, you kind of thought Florida maybe it's like, all right, it's 17-10 after Montel Johnson busted off that huge, touchdown. And then the Gators they faded. There was no emotion, no juice at all on that entire sideline. And the Hurricanes, I'm not going to say the U was back, but that's the kind of swagger we want to see from Miami. They were taunting players. They were doing the Gator chomp everywhere. That's the kind of thing that everyone expects Miami to be. If that continues to keep fueling, I could see them making a run. And they're the only team in the ACC right now that actually showed on both sides of the ball that they were ready to play week one. Florida State didn't. Clemson's offense didn't. Granted, they were playing a very good defense. Obviously, we talked about Virginia Tech. Like, this could be the Miami now to lose. Now the expectation of them to maintain it is going to put them at a spot where can Mario Cristobal not screw it up.
Georgia Tech looks better, too, than what we originally thought of them.
They do, and they're that 1-0. Yeah. I think that's going to be a nice matchup, Georgia Tech and Miami. The two teams, can they get there? Can Virginia Tech respond? Florida State, if you struggle versus Boston College, at any moment, Mike Norvell is in serious trouble. I think not his first job, but you had basically a 1 year hit wonder with Jordan Travis. And if you've seen the records, folks, he's 2-9, I believe, without Jordan Travis at Florida State. He has an amazing record with him, but 2-9 without Jordan Travis. Was it just him? And he played
Right.
great with other players? Like, where's that going to go? But we
Right.
have a lot to unfold here as the season goes on, but interesting start so far.
All right, Fresh, your top 15. Who you got?
Top 15 as of games played so far this season.
Right.
And factoring in who they played, because obviously we have some blowouts versus cupcakes, but I want to factor all in. Number 1, Georgia Bulldogs went out and absolutely dominated in the second half. Ohio State's number 2, Texas number 3, Notre Dame, the way that they win the Kyle Field with all that going against them, I'm actually
Right.
going to put them at number 4. Penn State, the way you went into West Virginia and throttled the Mountaineers, I'm putting you at 5. Oregon, you dropped down on me because you really struggled. Maybe you were looking ahead to Boise State. I don't know, but you're at 6. Ole Miss at 7. Alabama up to 8. Oklahoma at 9. Missouri at 10. Utah 11. Tennessee at 12. If they played a better opponent, we'll find out about NC State this week. I would have had them higher. Arizona at 13. Miami at 14. And number 15, Oklahoma State. I had LSU there at 15, 16 range, but I couldn't put them in there because I haven't seen play yet.
Right. So I left LSU in there. I left some other teams in there, and I've moved some teams around here as well. Fresh, my number 1 team, and me and you differed going into the season, still the Ohio State Buckeyes. Again, it started off a little bit on the slow end there, but all of a sudden, then you saw how special Jeremiah Smith is. You saw how special, once this offense completely gels, that they're just going to be world beaters. Georgia's number 2. I thought they had a great win in the second half against Clemson there. Clemson, though, is not the Clemson of old anymore to me. I have Notre Dame jumping all the way up to number 3. I give them a lot of credit for that win there. Texas is going to come in at number 4. I go then Penn State jumping up to number 5 as well. I was very, very impressed by them. Again, that's a much harder win than people are going to give them credit for. I got Oregon at number where am I at? Number 6 there. Alabama 7. Ole Miss at number 8. The Miami Hurricanes are number 9 for me there as well. The Wolverines come in at 10. Actually, I thought they did. I watched that entire game last night, and watching their defense show up, I think they got a lot of troubles on offense, but that defense still looks like they are legit. And Fresno State is still a fairly decent team out in the Mountain West. Utah, I gave Utah my number 11 spot there. I left LSU. Again, I like your theory, though, Fresh, of games played. I probably would have jumped Oklahoma into this top 15 if I would have said I got to see you play a football game. I'm going to give LSU the credit right now. I have Tennessee at number 13. I gave the K-State Wildcats a little bit of love, bringing them in at 14 there as well. And I am completely torn, so I just put the state of Oklahoma at number 15. So I'm going to say it can be the Cowboys, it can be the Sooners. It's just the entire state of Oklahoma. You're ranked number 15.
Is Tulsa getting included there? Are they going to have? They're going to get some accommodation on that number 15 ranking?
If they were a plural team and not just the Golden Hurricane, then maybe. But this only deals with teams that are plural and has the name of Oklahoma in their name.
Got it. That works for me.
Yeah.
But the games played factor has to come in because obviously we've only seen one. Like, talking season's over, folks, and we've got to move forward on games played.
Right. And it looks like this. And again, we're just reacting to it. I really think we should probably refer to these more as I don't even know, because they're not really a ranking type thing. It is just kind of what our eyes are telling us.
Power poll,
something like that. Yeah, it's just what we see, where we think you're currently at after watching you play a single game. Again, things can definitely change, and it's kind of like alluding to what we think you're going to be, but you still got a long way to go. So, again, Notre Dame, great win out of them, but they have a fairly easy schedule the rest of the way, especially with Florida State and Clemson looking the way they are. Buzz, your girlfriend, Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame, I think this now it's just kind of like Miami. Now you have to maintain the expectation. Because everyone's going to want you to fall. Like, all right, are they really back? Are they truly elite? And that's going to be that. Can you maintain? Can you live up to that expectation? Same thing with Penn State. Like, now you've already set the bar. You showed you can score points and you beat a good team. where are you going to be able to go from there? So it's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out. Obviously, it's September 1st as of this record right now. And we got a long way to go to even getting toward conference title game weekend and in the playoffs. But, so far, so good for some teams and other teams. Got to get back to the drawing board real quick.
Yeah, actually, and it's going to be a great week too. We already have our lineup for week 2 here. We have our poll. Nebraska and Colorado have won our fan poll, so make sure you guys are following us on social medias. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from. The Irrational Confidence Podcast is part of Spinnable Sports, so make sure you visit spinnablesports.com. Oh, and one last dud of the week. Anyone who decided to take the over in UCLA versus Hawaii.
That one, the over in the Michigan, Fresno State game, those are some bad calls. And having any faith in the Wisconsin Badger offense as well.
Right.
So
Right.
our brown water bets were not good for week 1.
Yeah, brown water bets, it really was like drinking sewage or maybe something else here. Maybe some, turkey gentleman or something like that.
It wasn't pretty. It was the bottom shelf, like $2 for a liter.
Yeah, there you go. Guys, special thanks to our producer, Drew. Without him, none of this is possible. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Get notified every single time we drop a new episode. We got some more great college football stuff coming to you this upcoming week. So get ready for a fantastic week number 2. We got some big games coming up, and we're going to learn a lot about teams in the near future here. Fresh, that's all I got for this week.
All right.
What you got?
Fun week 1. Everybody engage at SpinnableSports.com, Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. Hit us up on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Twix. It's a long season. Football's back, everybody, and let's enjoy every single second of it. And with that, bye, y'all.
Gonna go jump in this